Hey there, seekers of style, knowledge, and all that good stuff. Joe here from Style by Joe, and today I'm actually going to go over 10 of the things that turn me into Style by Joe. And I'm talking about building blocks that I've learned upon that has, like I said, turned me into who I am. And the first one is a little bit longer to set up than some of the other ones, but number one is I was raised by my grandparents, and when I was 8 years old, my grandfather's mother died, and we moved from a more city setting into a little bit of a rural setting. And my grandparents were both Pennsylvania Dutch, and my grandmother's mother lived with us, who, of course, was Pennsylvania Dutch. And I went to school with a very Dutchified accent, which to other people sounds almost German. So here I am in this school, and they decided that I should probably take speech class to lose this little bit of accent that I had. So while I was in there, they also discovered that I was dyslexic and I had a couple other learning issues. So they didn't quite exactly know what to do, and they found a school very close by that was great with learning needs. Um, so I went there for third grade, but upon some of the other testing, they realized that I was actually slightly more advanced learning wise. So I went from third right into fourth. And being that it was not in the same district that I was in, I had to take the little bus. That being said, it was really actually very good for me. By the time I went to junior high, I was actually mainstreaming in every class except for reading. By the time high school came along, I was mainstreaming in all of my classes. Not only was I mainstreaming, but I was actually reading at a higher or more advanced level. Um, and to this day, I love to read. But what that really puts into perspective for people is if you set your mind to something, you're going to achieve it one way or another. Because I hated being in those classes. Number two was probably a little bit before junior high school. Um, my fellow students had come to the realization that I was gay, and I think a lot of kids realized it before I even knew what exactly gay was, because being raised by my Pennsylvania Dutch grandparents, that wasn't something that was really talked about. Um, and I honestly never came out even in high school. That being said, I was bullied to the point of being tormented about being gay, even though nobody ever knew about it. Um, I was bullied in school in front of teachers who, most of them, chose to turn a blind eye to it. I did actually have one teacher really step up in front of other students and let it known that it wasn't cool. That being said, and paired with being on the little bus and being in the retard class, when I talk about bullying not being cool, I really know firsthand that bullying is not cool. Um, Third is moving from that house to the country. We had a ton of gardens that I had to help take care of, and we had flower beds, and we had a vegetable garden, and we had fresh herbs. So when I talk about gardening, I'm talking from experience. In fact, I'll get to this a little bit later, but my ex-husband and I bought this house that was built in the 1800s, and it had this one piece of unusable land that I actually made a brick patio so I could start a potted garden there. Um, so when I talk about eating fresh vegetables, when I talk about using fresh herbs, when I talk about eating healthy, and I talk about gardening, this is stuff that I've practiced already. It's stuff that I know, it's stuff that I experience, and it's stuff that I love. Number four is I was doing a hair show once. I was a hair model. And during my haircut, the barber cut into the back of my neck to where the fact that blood was trickling slowly down the back of my neck. And she didn't notice it until almost the haircut was done. And of course, she didn't say anything. And after everything was over, she pulled me aside and said, why didn't you say something? I said, well, I'm here to make you look good. So if I would have said something, you would have looked bad. People might even have thought you weren't that good of a Barbara. So that being said, that steps into, if I could do that to make somebody look good, think of how willing I am on this channel to make other people look good. And that's kind of really my mantra of this channel. I try and impart knowledge and wisdom to you guys for stuff that I've learned over the years. Thing number 5 is, being that I said, that we lived in the country, we had a coal stove and a wood stove, and I had to learn how to tend and clean and, make fires in them. I knew how to use, well, I still know how to use a chainsaw. I ran a dump truck. I've run a front end loader. I've run a bulldozer because my grandfather and his brother owned a stone quarry that was right by where our house was. So I'm not just one faceted. Like when I talk about my style channel being multifaceted, it really is, because that's the way I think we should live our lives. Number 6, going back to the house that my ex-husband and I bought. I loved it the second that I saw it. I could see the potential in it, and he absolutely didn't, but I convinced him that we should buy it, with my vision. And my vision led us to laying hardwood floors, laying parquet floors, laying our own carpet. We painted every room. I've wallpapered. One of the coolest things we did is, in our kitchen there were 2 decent sized pantries, and behind the one was a staircase that was no longer functional, but it ran from one side of the house straight up to the other side, and there were 3 floors. And we actually walled off the staircase, broke through the pantry, and we turned that into a first floor powder room. We installed cabinets in that kitchen, both upper and lower. And in the upper, I cut out the wood panel and put plexiglass in so you could see in there. We built our own kitchen island, which I tiled, and I tiled the counters. So again, when I talk about all these different aspects of what style is to me, this completely ties into my vision. That being said, going back to school, is I went to Votech for fashion design. So I know how to sew garments. I know how clothing should fit on you and how it should look. So when I tell you to pay attention to the detailing, like, is the stitching good? Are there loose stitching? Are the buttons loose? Is it quality material? I understand that completely. I went to 2 different modeling schools. So when I talk about the walk, when I talk about holding your shoulders back, when I talk about all this, I know what I'm talking about because I've been educated in it. I even went to community college to study interior design and interior decorating. So absolutely, when I tell you to take these classes, when I tell you to brush up on reading and get educated and learn things, I truly believe that. Number 8 is, being that I did Votech and I did modeling school and I did community college, there wasn't really money there to go to college. So everything I've learned in the retail business world, I've worked my way up. I started as a part-timer, then to a full-timer, then to a key holder, an assistant manager, and a store manager. And by the time I was in my late 20s, I was running big box stores. I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars. And that's something that I'm really impressed by, considering that in school I was the retard who worked the short bus, and I ran stores that had a staff of 33, including our own accountant and bookkeeper. My ex-husband and I owned our own business. It's not something that I've taken lightly, but again, it's knowledge that I want to impart to you guys. When we had our commitment ceremony, I was very lucky that where we got our tuxedos from was a friend of mine, and I literally pieced together what the groomsmen were wearing. I pieced together what I was wearing, what my husband was wearing, and even what the ring bearer was looking. And they were all variations of the same look, but still very distinctly different from one another. That being said, the girls' bouquets, I helped design them because I knew my florist, and she was still friends with me after this. I was in there once a week. I think that my good friend Amy wanted to kill me by the time it was over. But I was specific about how it looked. I designed the groomsmen boutonnieres. I designed my husband's boutonniere, my boutonniere, because of attention to detail, because attention to the fine details of it, which is what I also bring to this channel. And lastly, and probably one of the coolest things, and one of the things that I am the most proudest of, is when my husband and I adopted our sons. We were the first gay couple in our county to do it. And we had to jump through some real big hoops to do it. I mean, we had constant home visits. In one interview that we had to go to through a board of, I want to say, like 10 to 12 people, we were asked questions like, what will we do with our sex toys when we have children? Do we have a swing in the house? Which one of us was Will and which one of us was Grace? And we sat through them because we knew that we wanted these kids, and we knew that other gay couples wanted kids. And we did what it took to get them. So to the young gay kids out there who think that, gay men in their 50s are tired old queens, we were forerunners. We were trailblazers. Just like for my generation, the Stonewall was forerunners for us. But that being said, that gives me such a wealth of knowledge, and it gave me such a drive and ambition to achieve the things that I wanted to. And I knew I wanted kids. I knew that I was not going to not adopt kids. But anyway, like I said, definitely one of the best things I ever did was adopt kids. That being said, I hope that this list of 10 has given you a more rounded version of who I am, and a look into my life, and just with different things that I am willing to bring to the table for my viewing audience. And the fact that, to me, like I keep saying, style is not one thing. It's a list of all things that have encompassed my life. So folks, this has been Joe from Style by Joe, of 10 different items that have made me who I am. Style by Joe, of course. Style by Joe by now, of course, is the YouTube channel that you have subscribed to. It's also my Instagram. Style You by Joe is my Facebook, my Gmail, and my Twitter. And folks, like I say all the time, if you want to become more invested in who I am, please check out my different posts. Um, Style You by Joe is STYLEBY, the letter U by Joe. Um, and I encourage you guys to follow me because I'm really wanting to develop a community, and I'm really wanting to foster that kind of group. Um, and I'm not only interested in fostering a gay group or a gay following because that's such a minute part of my life and who I am. Um, Folks, stay stylish. Again, I ask you all the time, if you found this video interesting or informative, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you found informative about it. Um, let me know what you found interesting, or if there are other things about me that you want to know. And please continue to share these videos with your friends and family because they deserve to be just as stylish and knowledgeable as you are. Again, I forgot to go over it, but if you didn't find this interesting, you can give me a thumbs up. But I'd much rather hear what you didn't like about my video because at the end of the day, I am here for my community. Stay stylish. Have a good day.